Hello students, welcome to the new lesson of power system analysis, and today we will discuss about the swing equation. We will see here why the swing equation is important in the stability analysis of the power system, and we will also see how we can include the damping term in the swing equation. Then we will discuss about the most important stability analysis model, which is single machine connected to the infinite bus system. Let us start with a single machine, and then we will develop a model for a two machine and n machine, right? Before starting a swing equation, we must have a correlation between mechanical system as well as the electrical system. Let we have a mechanical system and electrical system given by these relations, right? As we know, in a rotational machine, when any body starts rotate, it has certain physical parameter like this. And on the other hand, if we convert that rotational or motion or that rotational mechanics into the linear motion, then we will get a such equivalent parameter with a linear motions, right? In our analysis, it is very important to note about this torque, this angular acceleration alpha, this omega, this angular displacement theta, this kinetic energy. Basically, we are interested in the development of the kinetic energy because we want to convert one energy into the another energy form, right? And the work done by the machine. Let us start with a concept of swing machine. Before starting, we have several other parameters about the mechanical system, that the inertia is h. It is defined in a megajoule in our system, which is equals to the synchronous machine net power, that is MVA of a machine. And this inertia constant h is basically a kinetic energy stored in a rotor in a megajoule component divided by the apparent power of the synchronous machine rated in MVA. Now what is the kinetic energy? If we see, it is nothing but the S into H from this relation, and it is nothing but half M into omega electrical. How this omega electrical comes into the picture, we have already discussed in the last slide, conversion of electrical angle into the mechanical angle, right? And this M is a moment of inertia. Now if we replace omega with 2 pi f, we will get relationship like this, right? And this will come in a joule. Now moment of inertia can also be manipulated from this relationship, right? And the relationship gives the unit of joule per radian of electrical divided by seconds, where moment of inertia is nothing but 180-degree radian. If we convert the pi from here, we will get like this, where S is nothing but a 1 pu. Why we are taking 1 pu? Because most of the equations we use 1 pu as a maximum per unit base apparent power value, right? Now we have already started with a swing equation. Let we have a generator model as well as a motor model. How we can analyze the same machine as a generator and as a motor? If the electrical power is coming out from a machine, then definitely it is a generator model in which the mechanical power is given inside the machine. Now the synchronous torque is acting in a clockwise direction, and the electrical torque, which is counterbalancing this, acting in an anti-clockwise direction, and the machine is rotating with a angular speed omega. Now other hand, if the electrical energy is injected in a system, then the same phenomena occurs with a opposite rotation. Consider the generator shown in a figure 1. We are moreover considering about the generator analysis, that is the synchronous alternator. It receives a mechanical power Pm at the shaft torque Tm, and the angular speed omega. It is from the prime mover or it is from a turbine which delivers the mechanical power and injected into the into the alternator in the form of electrical power. This is basically an electromechanical torque. What is happening at a balanced condition or at a steady state? We know that at a steady state, mechanical torque must be balanced with electrical torque. Or on the other hand, we can say that definitely the centrifugal force inside the machine must be equal to the centripetal force. So the force are balanced, and hence the torque are also balanced. Now what is the accelerating torque? If you think about the mechanical power which is injected, in a machine, and the difference of electrical torque which is obtained at the terminal of the shaft, that must be defined by the accelerating torque. If mechanical power is more and electrical power is less, then definitely the machine is started accelerating, and if electrical power is more and mechanical power is less, then definitely the machine is started with a decelerating or retarding, right? Multiplying both sides with omega in LHS and RHS, what we people get? We people get tau into omega becomes the power. Now LHS becomes the accelerating power, right? And RHS becomes the mechanical power and electrical power. In case of motor, this system happens because in motor electrical energy is more which is injected in a machine and mechanical torque is less, and the relation becomes like this. Remember this, we will have a good analysis in the later slides. Now what is the accelerating power? If you compare here, Pa is equals to tau A into omega. Now replacing the torque with j omega alpha, we will get like this. And what is j alpha? J alpha is nothing but the moment of inertia m into the alpha from the mechanical point of view. Now what is alpha? If you think, it is rate of change of angular velocity, or in the form of theta angle, it is rate of change of, it is basically double rate of change of the d2 theta upon dt square, that is a double rate of change of the angular displacement. If we replace this alpha with this angular displacement terminology, we will get the relationship of the accelerating torque or a power in the form of this. And this is a very important relation, that Pa is equals to m dot d2 theta upon dt square. This is basically a mechanical side formula which we will have to remember for counterbalancing the electrical phenomena of the machine. Theta, it's more convenient to measure the angular position. Now what is happening with the theta? You can see it. Suppose this is our rotor. One pole of a rotor is here drawn, right? Now quadrature axis is there, direct axis is there, and the angle between the synchronous motion of the rotor with respect to stator field is basically the load angle or a torque angle. This is basically theta m. What is the difference? And the rotation is basically omega t. If you think here, it is nothing but a radian unit is here, right? Now if we see here, we can, from this analysis, if it is a complete theta for mechanical power, then we can easily say that with respect to synchronous rotating frame, del is nothing but theta minus omega t from the diagram, and omega t is nothing, it is becomes 0 at that when machine is rotating synchronously. Then definitely the del becomes the theta, or theta becomes the del. So we can replace d2 theta upon dt square with a rotor angle d2 del upon dt square, and the accelerating torque become like this. Now what is the actual relation obtained from here? Accelerating power is equals to mechanical power minus electrical power, that will equals to m dot d2 del t d2 del upon dt square, or in the form of apparent power, it is sh 180 degree f dot d2 del upon dt square. This function is nothing but a m, moment of inertia. We have already calculated it in the previous slide, and this equation is known as a swing equation in a per unit, right? Now this accelerating torque is sometimes positive and sometimes negative. Please remember, if the accelerating torque is positive, then definitely the electrical power is in at a load side, and if the accelerating power is negative, then it is flow from the load to source side. This is very important to understand. Now with the help of H constant, that is inertia constant, we can replace or manipulate or simplify this relation in the terms of H constant. Now in the case of damping power, capital D, suppose we have a damping power. Why this damping occurs? Because this is a swing equation. Swing equation means the rotor is oscillating over its axis due to sudden fluctuation change across the load side, right? If we have a system where we have a generator and which is supplying electrical power output to the some load, this generator to supply this electrical power output is run by means of a prime mover, as we know that, and this prime mover power, that is a turbine power, is a mechanical input, basically that is PM, power of a mechanical device, and this mechanical input is driving this rotor of the turbine and the generator, and with this cause a torque on a turbine shaft or a rotor shaft of a generator turbine develop, and this torque will basically a mechanical torque with effect of the mechanical torque. This torque will oppose the mechanical input so that counterbalance with electrical output, because the centrifugal force and centripetal force are balancing. Now how much time it will take to settle down the fault or settle down the disturbance is basically the time in which the system restores its original synchronism property, right? And if we draw a curve from this with respect to a del, we will get like this. It will start at a t equals to 0, there must be some rotor angle available initially. This is because of the flux starts flowing inside the machine. It is an early effect. Now what is the impact of the swing curve? Swing curve are used to determine the stability of the system. If the rotor angle del reaches a maximum and then decreases, then it shows that the system has transient stability. On the other hand, if the rotor angle increases indefinitely, then it shows that the system is unstable, right? Now we will go to analyze both these parameters with respect to the apparent power as well as with respect to the reactive power, right? Now consider the case first. Generator is connected to a infinite bus, right? Then what infinite bus means? Voltage and frequency are constant irrespective of the load is connected across the terminal of the alternator, right? Now see, let we have a system arranged like this. This is a terminal voltage across a infinite bus, this is a terminal voltage across a generator, this is a some transient reactance of alternator, this is transmission line reactance, the net reactance will be capital X. We have already analyzed this in a power flow equation. Now voltage is taken as a reference, then definitely it is a leading impact of a EMF A, right? And current is lagging because most of the load are connected in a inductive form. So we can analyze the value of current from this diagram, right? From this diagram, then we will get E minus V upon Jx. Solving this into a polar or a complex form, we will get 1 upon Jx is a common factor, mod of E cos del plus J mod of E sin del minus of mod of V with angle 0 degree. Now what is the useful electrical power which we have to calculate? It is a real power component, this is, and its value is mod E mod V upon X sin del. This is basically a power flow equation, we have earlier derived it. Now if you see here, suppose the machine is running as a motor, then what will happen? V is again at a reference, but it is lagging because it is a motor. Basically all motors are in a lagging nature, and the result becomes like this. You can manipulate it using the complex number notation. As a result of the swing equation, what is the actual power available at the shaft of the motor in the form of electrical system? PA is equals to PM minus P, that is equals to PM minus P max dot sin del, that will be equals to M dot d2 del upon dt square. And if you solve this equation, we will get a formula of a swing equation in a generator form. And if PM minus P max is reverse like this, then it is for a motor form, right? If remember, both equation are non-linear in a second order of a differential equation, right? Now this is a swing equation. This is basically a sine curve, and this is a positive value for generator, and this is a negative value for a motor. We have already discussed these things. Thank you so much.